once again to a brand new episode of Everything We Do is Magic, or as I call it, Udum. And it's a place where I just explore my walk in chaos magic and what's going on, and hopefully open up some avenues to your thought process. Be sure to like our page and subscribe so you can get these. This channel, the Buckwheat Farms Magic Emporium and Ballroom, will be dedicated henceforth to this very subject, to chaos magic. But you can check out my other channels. I have one called Salt and Light Quantum Healing, where I deal with some of the aspects of what I'm teaching here in chaos magic, specifically to the point of healing. Also, check out our new channel, Galloway Place Farms CSA, and it's where we'll explore what's going on with the new community supported agriculture system that we've got. I'll do my permaculture things there, and more of a teaching information channel. But this is the Chaos Magic channel. A little fun, a little frivolity, but hopefully it will free your mind to embrace the chaos within you. You guys know I haven't been around for a while, and I've been here, been lurking and kind of watching who's commenting and commenting back and things like that. But I was really going through a period of learning how to use the energies attached to emotion. Okay? Emotions are energies, and they're not good or bad or right or wrong. They just are. And see, that's a hard thing, because the moment we put judgment on an emotion, we send it in a direction, and that direction is not always the one that is in our best interest, right? So I'm learning how to utilize and how to embrace even those emotions. Again, remember, chaos magic, as I define it, is using your intention to create your will. And I use my, you go back and watch my introduction to chaos magic, and I have you doing magic in the first 5 minutes of the video. And it's kind of a little bit of a trick, but it is true that everything we do is based on our thinking. So what happens? You get this again. This feeling comes in, and I acknowledge, man, this has made me feel fearful in the past. Now, rather than trying to be totally, as has been falsely presented, stoic, and ignore the fear or just kind of like think it doesn't exist, I find it more powerful to embrace it and say, yes, that is an absolute feeling. It is a valid feeling based on those things, but I will receive those energies. And now what I'm going to do is start assigning whatever the opposite of that is, that will create a new reality. And so I'm going to use that momentum, and rather than allowing that momentum to sweep me away, I'm going to harness it and redirect it in a direction that I desire. I've seen it happen quite a bit during this period. And that's what will happen when you're going through those times of stress and trouble and the dark night of the soul. A lot of the times it's an opportunity for you to learn how to harness that particular energy. We are the masters of these energies, and it's I guess not learning it so much as awakening to it. How is it that I can utilize what one would consider a negative emotion and translate that energy? And again, I go back to the point that I just made about not judging the energy. The first thing I'm to do is, when the emotion comes in, is to acknowledge it. Say, yes, I have an emotion based on past experiences of fear, or I have an emotion based on past experiences of anger, or I have an emotion based on past experiences of disappointment. And I'm purposely using what we call negative experiences. It's easy enough for us to flow with the positive, right? When things are going really well. But as the Kybalion says, there's always going to be that pendulum swing. And what happens is either we can ride the pendulum and sometimes the momentum just gets us carried way outside of where we're supposed to be, or we can maintain this homeostasis. I'll close out by giving you a little example just from this past weekend. If you've seen our sustainable permaculture stuff, you know we're having to move our farm completely from my dad's household area over to a new area. It's a really positive move for us, but there's a lot of things attached to that, those emotions that come in. Well, one happened this past weekend. I had reserved a U-Haul truck, my truck being down, of course. I had reserved a U-Haul truck and was gonna load it up, had a bunch of fencing taken down, everything staged. I mean, it ended up being a good sized truckload, and at the same time pick up some hog panels on the way. Well, that Saturday morning when I went to pick up the truck, I found the place that I'd reserved the truck was closed. I called, no answer. So then I called a nearby U-Haul place that was listed. I looked it up on my phone and no answer there. And I'm thinking, Now, frustration, a little bit of a lot of disappointment. What am I going to do? All those emotions came in, and what I did was I embraced them. I acknowledged them. Remember, you go back and look at some of my talks on meditation, and I acknowledged that. But I said, where does that thought, where does that idea come from? Where does that where does that thing of fear come from? It comes from an irrational response to that. It's an idea that, and if I follow that fear, then the worst end will come to pass, because it has no option. Energies have no option other than to go where we direct them. So I just made a straightforward decision to change the direction of that energy, and I said something will work out. We'll go and try to find the nearest U-Haul place. And just as I was doing that, the guy called back from the second place I called. He said, I've moved my operation. He told me where he was, and I went down there. He said, I've got a truck right here waiting to go for you. Now, not only did I get a truck, but I made a new friend, because this guy was absolutely fantastic. What would have cost me, I mean, with the mileage and everything, not a substantial sum, but about $130, $140. It ended up costing me a total of, what was it, $50, $60, excuse me, about half of what it would have cost me if I had rented it through the other guy. And all because I redirected my energies. Now, you may say that's coincidence. But as my friend Foolish Fish says, if you accredit the magic, the acts, the things to coincidence, they don't seem to happen as often. But when you acknowledge and recognize that it is truly magic, it is truly the use of your will and your intent to create your reality, it happens more often. Until next time, namaste.